Hello, Kate. Thank you for taking time to speak with our Women's Forum today. It's truly a pleasure to connect with you, especially during the time we know you are very busy with the campaign right now. So before we dive into the question, could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your role in leading the White Ribbon campaign?
Yeah, no problem. So my name's Kate Green, and my job title is Travel Safe Partnership Manager. And I do that. I manage the Travel Safe Partnership on behalf of Transport for Greater Manchester. It's probably worth just explaining a little bit about what the Travel Safe Partnership do, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So the Travel Safe Partnership is jointly led by Transport for Greater Manchester and Greater Manchester Police. And it's a collaboration between the transport operators right across Greater Manchester.
Wow, it covers a lot of areas. Thank you. I think many people may be curious about what the campaign's about and what is main aim. Can you explain to us?
Yeah, so we do a number of different things. So the White Ribbon campaign is just one of the things that we deliver. So I should have said at the beginning, we've got a 3-year strategy that we work to as the Travel Safe Partnership, and we work to 3 quite high level delivery aims, strategic delivery aims. One is to improve passenger perceptions of safety, so the way people are feeling when they're travelling right across our networks, whatever mode of transport that they choose. Obviously, we have a role in dealing with any issues of crime or antisocial behaviour that take place on the network. They are thankfully rare in relation to the number of journeys that are made. And then one of our key focuses is around ethical travel behaviours. Now, within that, it's probably a little bit oversimplified, really, because we cover a whole host of things within that, everything from hate crime through to the gender-based violence work that we're doing at the minute. So in terms of the White Ribbon campaign, that falls within that element of our strategy delivery. Do you want me to go into a bit more about the White Ribbon elements of the work?
Oh, sure.
Now?
I think people may be happy to know about that.
Yeah, and I think you obviously you touched on it with the work that you're delivering, but our view is that safety is fundamental to everybody using public transport. People should feel safe and be safe when they're using the networks. And actually, we know that some groups of our customers more than others feel unsafe. And obviously, from a Greater Manchester perspective, I think we've got in the region of 1.4 million women and girls as part of our population. And actually, we need to empower them to feel safe using public transport, because if we do that, then, it gives them access to, healthcare, jobs, education, opportunities, and we need to make sure that that's equitable. And we know that the way women and girls feel about travel compared to the way men and boys feel about travel, for instance, it tends to be different. So in round about November 2022, we applied to become an accredited member of White Ribbon. And I don't know if you're aware of the work that White Ribbon as an organisation do, but they're the UK's leading charity on encouraging men and boys to end gender-based violence against women and girls. So it's very much focused on the behaviours. And from our perspective as Transport for Greater Manchester, that actually contributes to the wider Greater Manchester gender-based violence strategy in terms of the transport contribution to that. So as part of becoming accredited, we kind of signed up and committed to develop a 3-year action plan. So we've been working on that action plan since 2022, but with the overarching aim of making public transport safer for women and girls in Greater Manchester. And within that, it includes everything from what you might expect, your bus, your tram, your train, but also your active travel modes, so cycling and walking and things like that. It includes all of those things. I suppose a bit about where we're up to currently, because obviously we're now at 2024. We've delivered on a number of different safety interventions, both in the campaign space, which is what I'll talk to you about shortly, but also in a physical space. So things like improving lighting, improving CCTV. We've actually increased our frontline staffing provision by over 100, because one of the things that people would say to us is we feel safe when we see more staff. So we've actually listened to that. So we've got more stuff out there on the network as well. 25th of November is White Ribbon Day. So every year the charity choose a theme to host a kind of, you know, a day for everyone to come together. And this year's theme is It Starts With Men. So that's about taking ownership to address and challenge negative attitudes and behaviours. So that links quite nicely to where we are at in terms of Travel Safe and Transport for Greater Manchester in terms of our current campaign.
You touched something really important there, how to challenge a threatening
Absolutely.
behavior.
Absolutely,
so how
yeah.
can passengers feel both safe and empowered to step in if they witness harassment?
Yeah, and I think that's something, that's a question that we've kind of taken on board for this year's campaign. So our campaign this year is called Help the Scene, Intervene. And it was actually co-designed with Greater Manchester's Gender-Based Violence Lived Experience panel. So we actually took a number of campaign concepts through the lived experience panel to see how they felt it would resonate. Was it the right messages? Did it do what it needed to do? Was the tone right, etc.? And we got some really, really valuable feedback from them. The campaign's live at the moment, and the kind of overarching aim of it is to help educate and empower all of our passengers to safely, and I have to stress, safely intervene in situations where they feel somebody may be being harassed or may be uncomfortable with the situation that they're in. And what we're doing through the campaign is we're giving them a number of tactics in order to do that. So it could be things like asking somebody what's the next stop, asking somebody what time it is. You know, it could be as simple as that. So we're looking at mechanisms that aren't inflammatory, that aren't going to escalate a situation, aren't going to put people in danger, but actually that distraction can be just enough to say, actually, we know what's going on, can help the person that's feeling harassed feel, you know, supported, and actually break that chain of behaviours. So that's the campaign at the minute. Now, it isn't about asking our customers to police the network. It isn't about that at all. And there will be cases where either the situation, you know, is beyond that kind of intervention, or as a customer, you know, you don't feel safe yourself to intervene. You don't want to put yourself into that position. And we partnered with GMP good few years ago now, and we've got a service called Live Chat. So we've got across the network QR codes that are in discrete locations. We've also got a URL web address that's up across each of the modes, and that enables you to discreetly speak to the police, and it's a police call handler that you speak to, but you do it on a live chat rather than on the phone, so you can do it all very discreetly. And that means that you can report an incident that's occurring, but you can also get the support and the response that's needed if there's something that you know, there's more of a response that's needed than just the intervention. Then we've got those mechanisms in place as well for people.
Thank you very much, Kate. I thought you already suggest some of the most effective way for passenger to respond safely. But I'm still curious, what advice will you give someone if they feel too intimidated to intervene into a harassment situation? Any suggestion?
Yeah, I mean, and some of it, unfortunately, you know, we've got a mix of available help across the modes. So for instance, if you're on the Metrolink, we've got help points on the Metrolink, and we've got help points on the Metrolink stops. As I've mentioned, we've got staff across the network as well. So if it's a situation where you need to speak to somebody for help urgently, then those people are available. You can get in contact with those people, and it's something, particularly on the tram, I don't think a lot of people know actually that we've got that available. And that's something, again, we're very cognizant of, is we need to tell people we've got these things in place so that they feel supported by us, but also empowered to report things to us. Again, I can't stress enough, you know, if the situation warrants an urgent response, it needs to be a call to the police. And it can either be a phone call, if necessary, through the normal channels, 999, etc. But we do have the discreet method now where you can just put it into the live chat. You are speaking to a person, you can get the same response that you would get through picking up the phone. But actually, if you're in a situation where you're not feeling comfortable anyway because something's happening, you know, it just gives you that discreet edge to not be escalating a situation or not feel like you're escalating a situation.
Actually, before this campaign, I have no idea where and what I can get support for if I'm on the public transport.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for letting people know that what and how they can do it. Before we conclude, is there anything we'd like to say to passengers who may witness or experience harassment in the public transport?
Yeah, I think if people do experience it, firstly, I'm sorry. It's not okay for you to experience that. And I think a lot of women and girls in particular, we tend to be quite complacent with poor behaviours, unfortunately. So my one stress would be, please tell us about it. Please do report it. We've got a zero tolerance approach to crime and antisocial behaviour on the network, and we are fortunate to have, you know, top of the range CCTV coverage. We can work with the police, we can secure evidence, we can pursue the people that are causing the problems, we can put additional staff into areas where we know people might be feeling less safe. But to do all of those things, we need to know, we need the reporting. So I think if it was just the one takeaway, you know, if you are in a situation, again, you know, it isn't okay, please do tell us about it and we will do as much as we can.
Thank you very much for your time and your team. So doing a great work to make Manchester a safer place for women. So I thought also for all the people as well, not only for women.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.